and unfortunately, this time around, we don't have Charlie Watts, who sadly passed away in 2021. He had done, I think, some preliminary work on the Hackney Diamonds album, which was released in 2022, but none of his work obviously appears on this current album. Hello, Cowhill. Welcome to another review. Today we are looking at the new Rolling Stones record called Foreign Tongues. Yes, it is the latest studio album. What studio album is it? Well, it is the 25th studio album from Rock and Roll Institution, that is the Rolling Stones, from the UK. But what we have here is essentially an album that, although very strange to say, is a sort of back to basics approach from the Rolling Stones. It's a very odd thing to actually say because they are sort of a band that are known for having a more stripped back sound, although in the past they have branched out into different sort of genres and production within those genres that they've explored comes through in some of their releases. But I have to say that this band has always really been about guys being in a room and playing, and then whatever other stuff that's put on top of that is complementary to that. And the interesting thing about the recording process for Foreign Tongues is that they had a whole bunch of stuff that was near on completion, and then apparently Mick Jagger had said was not happy with it. And then they just went all back to square one, because they weren't feeling the fire or the whatever it was. There wasn't any danger, and there wasn't. It seemed to be playing really safe, and that's very interesting to me that they would do that, because you could forgive the Rolling Stones for wanting to rest on their laurels after such a long amount of time in the music industry. We're talking like over 60 years at this stage. So it was really cool, interesting, and refreshing to hear that they still wanted to push themselves musically. And what you have here is basically their signature sound, but the distillation of their already well-known sound with the immediacy of the Andrew Watt production. Now, I wasn't a fan of the production that he did on Hackney Diamonds because I considered it to be quite it seemed to me to be very brick-walled and compressed. Now, I didn't look at the waveforms, and I don't do that sort of stuff listening to music, but it just seemed to me that it was like very, very all up front and with not much room to breathe. But on this album, it doesn't have as much of that. It has a little bit, but it doesn't have as much of that issue on Foreign Tongues as it did on Hackney Diamonds. And for that reason, I found it a more enjoyable listen from a production standpoint. But I mean, the teaser tracks leading up to this were quite good. They did Rough and Twisted, which is what opens up the album with just, straight ahead, rock and roll, turn of phrase lyrics from Mick Jagger and just like incredible riffs from Wood and Richards there. And then you got In the Stars, which is a really nice pop track. Jealous Lover, which is another single off the album there. I would consider that probably be one of the high points of the album, and really, really good choice for a single. Divine Intervention is good. Ringing Hollow, another sort of longer track there. Never Wanna Lose You, which is a Jagger, Richards and Matt Clifford co-writing credit there. Hit Me in the Head, which does remind me of the more immediate Stones tracks like Hang Fire or You Got Me Rockin', something like that, or Voodoo Lounge. That like a nice, succinct 3-minute banger, that hits you right in the middle of the album. You have the Amy Winehouse penned "You Know I'm No Good," which is done really well. Their treatment of that is fantastic. And then, as is the custom with some of the Stones albums, Keith Richards actually does the lead vocal duties on 2 tracks here, Some of Us and the closing track, Beautiful Delilah, which is a Chuck Berry original. And his vocals are really great for the tracks. I feel like they choose the really good songs that suit Keith Richards' voice. I don't think his voice is really utilised in the wrong songs over their sort of entire canon, and that doesn't change here on these 2 tracks here. Covered in News, great. Side Effects with an Andrew Watt co-writing credit there, and Back in Your Life, which is another epic banger there. There's the their rock sound. There's elements of funk. There's things that harken back to tracks like Miss You, Harlem Shuffle, and things like that, where they're playing with different genres like Motown and funk, and there's a ballad here and there in that. It's just basically a solid typical Stones album. It is a much of an improvement over Hackney Diamonds, that's for sure. And I was surprised at how quick they followed this up, because it was only a 4-year gap, whereas I think the gap between Hackney Diamonds and the other one, which was, I want to say, Blue and Lonesome, which wasn't even an originals album, was 7 years. And then before that, I think the last studio album was 2005's A Bigger Bang. So, it's a fair time, but I mean, it's not like they've been lying stagnant either. They just relentlessly tour, and they'll probably be touring until they can no more at this stage. But if you are a Stones fan, I highly suggest having a look at this, because I think if you have any reservations about the last album, just production-wise, it had alright songs, the last album, but I think this is a stronger set of songs here in Foreign Tongues, and that's why I give Foreign Tongues a good 7 out of 10 here. And let us know what you think. Should it be higher or lower? And what else do you want to see me do review-wise coming up? Because there are some good releases coming up. I will see you in the next video.